Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a new image that appeared online for an upcoming Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 4 minifigure scheduled to be released alongside the upcoming 2026 wave of January Ninjago sets. Again, more specifically the Dragons Rising Season 4 stuff. I know that some of those sets are for the 15th anniversary. I don't think this minifigure is a part of that line of sets. Instead, this very much seems like a minifigure for Dragons Rising Season 4 just because of how much it resembles ROX of the Forbidden 5. Now with that being said, just for a quick couple of disclaimers here, first of all, this is a minifigure that we have seen before a long time ago. However, the new image is a lot more clear and we can definitely make a lot more of the figure. We can see kind of clearly the torso print and the leg print. It's not fully 100% visible, but it's at least readable and somewhat visible. And also because this is a leaked minifigure, I am not able to show any of the images in today's video. However, I will be linking the images down below in the description. Check them out if you feel so inclined. You might want to follow along with those images as the video continues. So yes, like we discussed in previous videos, this minifigure does bear a striking resemblance to ROX. From what we can see, the minifigure uses what appears to be a very similar face print and a very similar color scheme from ROX, using a lot of that same brown that the ROX minifigure previously used. Of course, this caused a lot of Ninjago fans to assume that ROX would indeed be returning in Dragons Rising Season 4, and while I do think that is possible to an extent, it is worth mentioning that this minifigure that is new does not retain the short legs of the previous ROX minifigure. Instead, this minifigure has the normal tall legs, definitely not utilizing the same short legs that ROX previously used, suggesting that this is also just not ROX. However, I think it has something to do with ROX, and I would be very surprised if it did not. First of all, just based off of the new image, we can see that there are symbols in the Ninjago language. When translated, those symbols roughly translate to E, A, and R going down the torso. So, ear? Well, if you take a look at the other photo that we have, where there's not an emoji covering up most of the figure, you can see that there's another symbol on top of the E, and I would be willing to bet that that symbol is F, meaning that it spells out fear on either side of this minifigure's torso and legs. Fear, of course, being the elemental power of ROX, which, funny enough, is the only elemental power that we have not seen from the Forbidden 5 physically in the show. The closest that we got to seeing it was in a Ninjago magazine, unless the show just subtly had ROX use her fear power, but either way, I don't think we have seen ROX use her fear power in the show. And considering that this minifigure is, again, literally walking around with the word fear on their person, I guarantee it's related to ROX in some way. I mean, it just has to be, right? But again, this minifigure has the taller legs, so unless ROX grew taller for some reason, more on that momentarily too, this could just be a physical representation of her elemental power. Maybe all of the monsters that will be in the Dragons Rising Season 4 sets and the Season 4 season proper, maybe all of these monsters are just manifestations of ROX's elemental power of fear, and maybe this minifigure that was leaked is a physical representation of ROX's power. Maybe ROX possessing a new body, perhaps, because we know that she can do that too. Maybe this is just ROX's elemental power come to life, adopting its own form, and making its own army of monsters, if that makes sense. I think it's at least possible, given, again, we have no idea what exactly ROX's fear power can do. Maybe it can just summon monsters at will. And with that being said, check out the links down below in the description, once again, if you would like to check out the images in full. Obviously, I can't show them in the video because they are leaks, but the reason I'm saying that is because the rest of this video will have spoilers for Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 2 in it, so if you have not yet seen Season 3 Part 2 and you would like to leave because, again, spoilers, totally understandable, just remember links down below in the description. So yeah, talking about spoilers here, again, the idea of this minifigure being ROX herself is a compelling one. Maybe she's taller because, again, this is just a physical body that she obtained, maybe by possessing someone else, or maybe it's by absorbing the other members of the Forbidden 5, or something like that. Right now, the Forbidden 5 are all ghosts pretty much serving under Thunderfang, but what if at the end of Season 3, Part 2, ROX somehow breaks free of the spell and manages to absorb maybe the other members of the Forbidden Five, or maybe even Thunderfang himself? Maybe switching it up a little bit and doing to him what he did to them towards the end of Season 3, Part 1, when he absorbed their souls. What if ROX absorbs Thunderfang's soul? Or maybe, again, absorbs the other members of the Forbidden Five, since we know that they are not in the Season 4 sets from what we've seen, and thus she becomes this taller, more complete figure, and that would explain the larger legs on this new minifigure if it is indeed ROX. And if she absorbs Thunderfang or all of the powers of the Five, maybe her fear power has been amplified quite a bit. Maybe she now controls the other powers of the Forbidden Five, who knows? Maybe she just controls the power of Thunderfang. But I think it's at least a possibility. Maybe her fear power lets her do that too. Maybe it lets her take advantage of those who are scared. And if Thunderfang will be defeated at the end of Season 3, Part 2, he might be very scared, giving ROX at least some type of opening to absorb his power, just like how Thunderfang absorbed hers and the rest of the Five's power. Of course, that's just a theory on my end. Might be accurate, might not be. It's a theory at the end of the day. It could happen, it could not happen. But in terms of this minifigure, again, we are very much suspecting this to be real, at least to some degree. Last we heard the leaked minifigures that were out there for Dragon's Rising Season 4, they were real, but they were not finalized. If anything, they were just preliminary versions of what the figures would eventually become. But in the case of this minifigure right here, some folks were suggesting that it's just taking assets from ROX's original minifigure, and while I can totally see that just given the blurry image, the more clear image gives us a more clear look at the figure, and it's very different from the previous ROX minifigure. So I doubt that it's using the old ROX just as a base. It is also worth mentioning, though, that among the Season 4 listings that we have so far in terms of the sets, ROX is not mentioned by name. Instead, we have hooded villains being listed, as in plural. So maybe there are multiple hooded villains running around, all of which just kind of bear a resemblance to ROX for some reason, but maybe they are not specifically ROX. That goes back to the idea of ROX's power manifesting its own form, or maybe this is a cult that worships ROX or something. We've certainly seen cults before. And again, this minifigure could not be final, things are subject to change, but as of right now, it definitely does seem like it has some type of resemblance to ROX. Whether or not it is ROX herself, though, well, that's most certainly up for debate. However, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. Just a new image of this new ROX minifigure, allegedly could be related to ROX. Certainly seems like it has something to do with ROX at the very least. But once again, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. Just wanted to make a quick video now that we have, again, more clear images, or a clear image rather, of the previously leaked minifigure. So leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments, everyone. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here. Leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments. What exactly do you think? Do you think this is ROX? Do you think it's a manifestation of ROX's fear power? Do you think it's a cult that worships ROX? Could be a number of things, but leave all of your thoughts down below. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.